This week, talk about Tattooed Chef going public via its SPAC merger finally as a birthday present to both of us. Coke is going zombie killing and full World War Z throughout its list of legacy brands. The 5G networks are now getting into a full on battle for market share and people switching phone carriers as the new iPhone is hot in the streets. And American Airlines is committing to and giving the Boeing 737 MAX a rose and putting it back in the air just past the holidays. But first, let's get a quick word from our sponsor. We'll get in the episode. All right, everybody, welcome to today's episode of Quarterly Learnings. Justin, how are we doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, feeling old as hell. I'm sure you are too.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Birthday week for us just wrapped up. You know, back to back Thursday, Friday. Quick double tap as usual.
yeah. Speaking of too, I guess we got a little what should have been a nice birthday present. Maybe it will turn into one here eventually. But yeah, as you mentioned, Tattoo Chef went public. I think the ticker changed officially on the morning of the 16th for me. I think this weekend it changed for you on your account. Anyway, yeah, so kind of big news. One of the few SPACs that we've been kind of waiting for to go public. Um,
Here, look, first give us a quick overview because you've given me the overview before that led me to believe that it would do well while going public, but give a quick overview of what the hell Tattooed Chef is. Is it somebody you are keeping on staff, to cook you private meals? What is it?
I wish that'd be freaking awesome. I want some
Like, sidebar,
millennials.
do we know anyone in the culinary space that actually doesn't have a tattoo? I feel like is a better question.
No, I know people that have cushy corporate jobs that have tattoos, so I'm definitely not gonna roll anybody in the culinary arts.
No.
Yeah, so Tattoo Chef, they came on the market about, my understanding is about 3 years ago. Under a private label. They sell to Costco, like 7% of Walmart's right now. I've seen them in Target, a couple of them. I can't remember what the percentage is on that. And they sell under a private label as well, like not just their label of Tattoo Chef, but they do some private stuff that you wouldn't know unless you know the company well, to look for. And so they decided to try to go public, as they got some steam and had three just killer years of increasing revenue by 95%. They were always profitable, and as you know vegetarian products, meatless products became more and more popular, as you saw with Beyond Meat and everything else in that vein. They decided it was time, and decided to go the route that a lot of other people had found success in, and it was the special position acquisition company route, under the Forum Merger 2. Um,
Yeah, why make the name, normal?
FMCI, as we've referred to it in the past. Yeah, so they went through that, and a lot of hoops to jump through with all that stuff. You had to get votes by everyone that was involved. Had to get all their ducks in a row, and ultimately in the end they pushed it back a couple times. They did it a month. They were supposed to close in Q2, and they ended up closing end of Q3, or so they closed end of Q3 and closed obviously last week, in the middle of Q4, or at the beginning of Q4. Anyway, so yeah, that's a little bit of background on them. Like, they are just pursuing the vegetarian market. They are primarily a frozen food company that just has been killing it, and they do some really high quality, high end stuff in the frozen food section.
Yeah, so would you consider them are they like a direct competitor to Impossible Foods and Beyond Meat?
They're not.
Not.
They're their own
Okay,
thing.
what's the difference?
So Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods are really focusing like on the meat substitute, rather than just vegetarian meals, and
Gotcha.
snacks. Yeah, that's the main difference. So they are in the same vein, but I wouldn't say they're a direct competitor with them. Although they did just announce a like cauliflower buffalo burger, but they are not currently at least to my knowledge, or it was all just speculation that they would be like getting a deal with like say Domino's or one of the Pizza Hut or something like that to do their call heart crust in the future, which still may happen, but I think that was all just investors being having wishful thinking, and there's probably like little murmurs around it. That's yet to be actually confirmed or anything, so I wouldn't even bother with that until it's announced by the actual company.
So if they're not competing on the grocery store shelves, at least not directly, do you think they're going to there's going to be some competition for the same types of investors, which is primarily you and me, looking for innovative companies to grow in the future and capitalize on not only the alternative meat, but just the more healthier eating and living that we're seeing a lot?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, they're not a direct competitor, but they are in the same vein. So I mean, yes, and as people gear more towards healthy eating, and want to buy in the grocery stores and not necessarily do it in you know brick and mortar retail places. You want to go to Target, you want to go to Costco, you want to go to HEB here in Texas, and buy some healthy, relatively cheaper stuff than going out to eat, but a little bit more environmentally conscious stuff from the frozen food aisle that you can keep for a while and serve for your guests. That's where this is coming into play. And like I said, they've been very successful over the last 3 years. Have shown some really good solid growth and have a good product they believe in, that I personally believe in too.
Yeah,
I've heard a couple of their products.
you said you were going to be watching their upcoming digital sales numbers, right?
Yeah, so they haven't officially announced it yet. They've been hinting at it for even before the merger, that they're going to announce an online sales. They've
Oh,
had
so they're
all
a
their
tease
stuff.
company. They're a tease company.
They're a tease. They know what they're doing. They definitely are timing it right. They could have easily gone to online sales a month or two ago, but I'm sure they wanted to push back after the merger just to create some hype. Um, anyway, so yeah, they have all the infrastructure set up. They have everything it's going to look like on their site if you visit the tattoochef.com, and they have all their products
No
ready to
free
go, but
ads.
it's yet to be click a button to buy. You just can't do that.
Yeah, no free ads unless they want to drop the bag.
And even on their Instagram, they keep teasing, oh, big news coming soon. And it's like, all right, all the people that have been watching this company for a while and investing, they know exactly what it is. They're trying to get some more people that aren't in the know currently.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, sounds like another great alternative healthy company that we got that's now public, so you can invest in publicly and also capitalize on in the kitchen as well.
Absolutely, great marketing too. I like their logo a lot. It's pretty cool.
Tattooed man
It
with the
sticks
knife.
out. Yeah, sticks out in the grocery store. It's their founder and CEO. She's literally her like outline with her tattoos and stuff, holding a knife. So,
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
I like
um,
that.
I like the company. I don't know about the actual investment. We'll see how that plays out. I'm hopeful just because I am an investor, but I don't know. I personally I just like the product, and they've some real promise. Yet to be seen. I'm going to come a little earlier than this, but
Yeah, I mean,
I'll,
I doubt this will be our last tattooed chef segment that we'll do.
you'll see me
Going in.
celebrating with a little more balloons if they do pop off.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I think that wraps up old tattooed chef. All right, let's go ahead and dive into Coke going full scale zombie killer, Walking Dead. So Coke just recently announced that they're going to be ending their Tab soda brand, and likely what you did, just like what I did when I read this headline, is what the hell is Tab?
Yeah,
And then we come to realize, oh, it was very popular in the 70s. It was actually Coca-Cola's original diet soda brand before they released Diet Coke, which, as you and I know, is just a tad bit more popular. So yeah, just a bit, just a wee bit. So what this is a part of, though, is a larger effort by Coca-Cola to kill off all of their not necessarily just legacy brands and old brands, but just brands that they don't see a future with. And it, especially during Corona times, that is almost more of a pain to deal with and produce than what the upside is in terms of sales currently and sales in the future. So I got some quick stats here. It's that of CEO James Quincy said that over half of the company's 400 brands had little to no scale and only accounted for 2% of that company's total revenue. And that in the first half of 2019, Coke had already killed off about 270 plus products. Just this year alone, Coke has killed off Zico coconut. I don't know if it's Zico or Zyco, but the coconut
Not
water.
anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't need to take up any more real estate in my mind. And as well as their smoothie drink Odwalla, which I know you and I have seen throughout the Austin-based Randalls while growing up. Um, so initial thoughts. What do you think about Coke going full on axe to the zombie head on some of these?
Honestly, I do not care. I do not buy
You
Coke
don't
products.
care.
No, yeah, like you said, the only ones I really noticed were the Oddwall and the Zico. But yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense, like you said. During pandemic stuff, it's anything you can do to cut things out and and streamline your production is going to make sense. I think focusing on what makes them money. It's probably a long time coming. It's just more of an excuse to shift this over and make this move. I don't think I'll bat an eye at this, to be honest.
Yeah,
Really means
that's how
much.
I felt. It's like, okay, cool. Like that's kind of how it was like a just a meh reaction. But it
Yeah.
also, like you said, makes perfect sense of why bother, having this diverse focus when that diverse focus is not going to be what's bringing you the bag. So, but pop quiz question: do you know what brand is actually the main driver of them? You know, refining their focus and deciding what they actually wanted to go and kill off. Do you know what brand that is more hot in the streets that is making them do this?
Well, I think this would have been if I didn't already know the answer. I think it would have been an easy answer a year ago when you can talk about anything without saying the word Topo Chico in a drink. Um,
Topo Chico.
I think my real guess would have been just any kind of seltzer brand right now. Whether it be Waterloo or an alcoholic one. But yeah, that's what you kind of were hinting at as the Topo Chico is driving all this stuff.
Yeah,
Do you know what is
Topo Chico
Coke's
is gonna
brand?
be. What's up?
What is Coke's brand of Topo Chico, or do they own Topo Chico?
They own Topo Chico. It's one of their best acquisitions in the past decade by far. Topo
Okay.
Chico's sales are still increasing, and they actually have an alcoholic version coming soon. So mark the calendars for you and I for next birthday week of getting the alcoholic Topo Chicos.
If they're smart, they'll do it before summer.
I think they will. I don't know. I haven't seen a timeline on it yet. Hopefully, we will be back with an update on that soon, sooner rather than later. But yeah, I like Topo Chico. I just always have hated that living on the fourth floor. That hauling it upstairs is not exactly the most ergonomic way to get a ton of glass bottles upwards and into my fridge. So that's the only thing. I wish you could buy it a little more easily in bulk for sure.
I guess to kind of close this thing out, do you think other companies are going to follow suit, or probably already have followed suit of kind of destroying their mock brands or their zombie brands, as you called it?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think we've already seen it, and just it hasn't been quite as publicized. Coronavirus is making all different types of companies refine their focus up to what works for them. And it doesn't make any sense to spend money on things that are going to either cost you money and you don't see any growth future, or aren't costing you money but you're not making enough money for it to really matter, and is taking away employee resources as well as operational resources to actually go and manufacture, especially in the CPG space. They've got rival Frito Lay or PepsiCo, who owns Frito Lay, that's number one player in the snack game. Full disclosure, I did used to intern there back in the day, but Coke can try to take some of that market share if they want to. They do have a food-based business, just not nearly as big. So it depends on whatever that strategic focus is. And clearly coconut water and Odwalla were not a part of that strategic focus, nor the other 273 or whatever it was brands that they killed
Right.
off.
So are people losing their jobs because of this, do you think? Or do you think they're just shifting over to focus more on the main products as well?
I honestly have no idea. I haven't seen anything about job cuts being associated with these. I would imagine that they don't have, just if it were to be that, it would be product managers and brand managers. And a brand manager can be easily reassigned to a brand that's working. Product manager, I don't have the expertise to comment on that, but I just haven't seen any job cuts, you know, coinciding with these zombie killings. So hopefully they're just reallocating their human resources to and human capital to benefit the brands that brought them there.
I think they're big enough to take that on, yeah.
Yeah,
Just reassign.
but yeah, that's the end of World War Z Coke edition. All right, so let's piggyback off of last week's Apple iPhone 12 and Mini HomePod and everything else announcement out of Cupertino, but let's talk more so about the battle for 5G. So while the iPhone 12s are 5G compatible, somebody's actually got to provide the 5G service to make them work on that, which apparently is a way easier said thing than done, especially when discussing US-based 5G networks compared to others globally. So who's your provider? Just curious right now.
AT&T. So
I
I
know,
think we're in the
same.
same boat here, yeah.
Hmm.
Where we can buy the new iPhone, but we're not going to have the infrastructure to back it up for what it's really made for.
Yeah. So one thing that just caught my eye and why we're even talking about this story is this is the first time that the cellular networks actually have a discernible difference between any of them, and it largely is due to the fact that they've been preparing for this for a while now. I wish they'd prepared a little more to where they'd have a better rollout in place already set up. But the capex investments that have been undertaken by Verizon, T-Mobile, and Sprint when it was not a part of T-Mobile, and AT&T are definitely different. Verizon, we've seen, has already started up in a lot of cities and is currently blanketing the TV airwaves with advertisements touting that they are now in cities across the U.S. and they're starting to expand rurally, the word I can't say.
It's the hardest word to say
I
in
know,
English.
rurally. Anyway, T-Mobile US is now the second largest because they bought Sprint and just made themselves bigger, and is now moving into a lot more cities as well. And then AT&T hasn't really commented on their network coverage, but is now just discounting, which is a rare. It's a rare occurrence to happen for AT&T plans, and they're running iPhone new campaigns to get people onto their unlimited data service and subsidizing their iPhone installments for up to 30 months. So, and then they also copied a bunch of old T-Mobile ads while they're doing it. So,
Yeah, does this stuff just go in cycles of who's the best, who's the worst, and who's offering all these ridiculous discounts because they're trying to make up for their losses? Or
yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that carrier switching happens the most often when there's a new phone available. And especially when there's a new phone with a new type of network available, you're even more likely to see it, and you're more likely to see people move to the network that can give them that 5G service. I'm one of the idiots that pre-ordered the iPhone 12 last week, and I get it on Friday, but I know that I'm not going to have 5G service when I turn it on, but I'm hoping to in 6 months, and if I don't in 6 months, then maybe I need to look at making the switch because at that point, it's like, well, what are we doing here? Why?
yeah, why I spend $1,000 on this thing?
Yeah, I mean, you're just spending $1,000 on it just to walk in the door of the Apple store, basically.
Sure.
Hey, I'm getting a trade-in value, so it's not that
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah, you're due for an upgrade. You're good.
Yeah, but I don't know. What do you think about just the expansion of 5G overall? Because it's something that's going to be huge going in the future. Not only, it doesn't affect, we don't care as much about Netflix download speeds. I mean, we do, but in terms of the Internet of Things and connecting the world on a scale we've never seen before, I think I'm ready to see that.
Sure, yeah, it provides an opportunity to just have just more and more power in the palm of your hand at all times, and anywhere in the world, and just gives the opportunity for it's many technology we already have, but it just takes a lot of data and power to do, and it's just more accessible to more people that gives them an opportunity to do that, and use some of the crazy technology that people have built and established, that maybe only a select few are using right now. So it just gives that opportunity for more people to use and implement into their daily lives. I know like augmented reality and stuff might be a big part of a part of our lives in the near future, and that just kickstarts that, with all this. And then I'm sure even technology in cars might piggyback off of it too. I haven't really researched much into that, but I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, 5G is going to be crucial for autonomous vehicles to be able to communicate with each other. That
Yeah.
very, that's got to be that fast, and if not even faster. That way, you don't have two Teslas and a Neo, or not a Neo, but a Rivian colliding,
Right.
on on the interstate. But yeah, and it's augmented reality is a good AR is a good feature as well. Imagine being lost in Chicago, as one of the hosts of this has had happened to him at 3 a.m. coming back from a delayed Wrigley Field game. We won't say who, but walking around downtown Chicago at 3 a.m. and not knowing where you're going because you're trying to find deep dish pizza because you've never had it before. A, not the safest thing in the world. B, would have been a lot more helpful if I could have opened Google or Apple Maps and had it show me through augmented reality. No, idiot, turn left here, and then you'll find the pizza shop
Yeah,
rather
because you
than
weren't impaired or anything to where you needed some help, right?
no.
That's not what you're saying.
No, hey, it didn't matter. A cold front blew in and dropped it 50 degrees in the middle of July, and I had to buy a $90 hoodie at Wrigley just to stay alive. So,
There you go.
but it back to the point of just if you are traveling, it would be helpful to have directions shown on your screen of this is where you need to walk this or go, and then like we said, talking about cars with each other. Also, just seeing the different times of if you live in a city that has a subway, knowing where that subway is, having your phone being able to communicate faster with that train and knowing when it's there and when it's leaving, because
Yeah.
also had issues with that where you get to the subway platform and the train's pulling away.
Oh,
So
we didn't deal with that at all in Europe, did we? We didn't
we
almost miss our Prague train, did we?
hey, we came about not even 40 seconds close to doing just exactly that. And then
Oh, that would have been a nightmare.
that would next train was what, 8 hours later, and it was a 6 hour train ride.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
All right, we are
there's a
officially
lot of stuff that went into that of why we were almost late, but that we're not going to get into that on this.
yeah, and we are officially off track. But that wraps up the usefulness of 5G. We've gone through the use cases of privileged
Hey,
ass people.
have you seen how they're flexing the power of 5G right now? And like, it's crazy. Have you seen it?
No.
All right. So if you've seen the commercial with Chris Rock that is on every freaking
Hmm.
layoff
I told you they're blitzing the
commercial.
ad waves. It's probably come on at least 3 times during
Oh
this
yeah.
Bills KC game that we have on the background.
And if you're streaming it all, like you only see like 5 commercials. So if you're not watching actual live TV, like probably you and I are. Anyway, yeah. So they have like the NFL like 5 cam where you have all these like all the crazy cameras that are like the sidelines, the overhead cam, the spider cam. There's like 5 or 6 of them where you can watch on your phone on the with Verizon, with the 5G network. You can see all those in real time and like click on each one and make it full screen and watch the games on the stuff. So they're like flexing that power before they actually implement into like real world stuff. Love our
Yeah,
football, but like,
and
obviously there's no real use for that, and it's like it's really low risk, high reward of just showing the capabilities of 5G.
yeah, and they're using the rhetorical questions to be like, "Oh yeah, remember the last time you watched with 5 different camera angles, all at super high speed?" Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no, you didn't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't,
Look
because
at
we
me.
didn't
Look at me.
exist. But yeah, no, that commercials everywhere. Speaking of 5G, 5G was on the virtual stage with Apple during the event. They're all in on
Oh yeah.
riding the iPhone 12 wave to get them this new either new set of customers or keep their existing customers, and
Yeah,
it's all about keeping that market share, baby.
for sure. I think they turned it on today actually. Either today or yesterday, where they flipped
Really
the switch. Where they flipped the switch.
flip
I don't
the
know
switch.
which is which.
I hope it was some just massive switch that somebody had to go with.
Oh yeah, like it's the new ribbon cutting. It's where they have a big, some CEO just.
Hey, like all you got to do is just the forever competition of market share. And like while we're talking about the NFL, Al Davis Sr. just win, baby.
There you go. Love it.
All right, to wrap up, let's talk about American Airlines saying that they're going to put a plane back in the air that's currently not legally able to fly still. So did you hear about this? That American Airlines is now saying Boeing 737 Max will be back in the air on December 29th, pending FAA approval. What are your thoughts on this? Just boom, 2 words.
Let's go.
Let's go. Why is it let's go?
I'm ready, man. If it's clear, I really am in the boat of, if they're saying it's okay, there's going to be a lot of scrutiny on this stuff. Ultimately, there's going to be so many extra measures that are going to be followed on stuff like this when they had so much bad publicity, just to make sure it doesn't fail. Otherwise, you just lose all kind of, confidence in the thing. Otherwise, so I think it's, if they say it's ready to go, I believe it. I don't want to be the first person on this thing, but they put a couple in the air. I think I'm feeling okay. It's like the first person. You don't want to be the first person on the roller coaster after it fails, but once they do a couple days of testing, I think you're good to go.
Yeah,
Take this point.
I think the biggest vote of confidence to date is less the FAA saying that it's pending currently the review, as well as the FAA chief flew it, but that the European Aviation Commission said you're good to go. And they were actually the first ones to ground the plane. They were the ones being the most cautious back when the 2 crashes unfortunately happened. So I think that is a huge step just based on that, because it's, we as Americans just we live in our US bubble, but they do fly and sell these planes in Europe, in Africa, as well as other parts of the world. And it's huge that they gave the green light. And, we're seeing the FAA with, I keep wanting to say FFA, I don't know why. We're seeing the FAA currently having its revised training documents open for public comment. Since it is a public agency, the public does have the ability to go and comment on anything that it puts out like that during the public commentary period, which ends on November 2nd. But American Airlines said, nah, we're not waiting for that. October 24th, book your flights. We'll let you know it's a 737 MAX, but we are putting those routes on the air, or, in the air. And I largely think, even though we probably won't see travel even close to back by that point, especially because it's going to be right after the holidays, I imagine it's an effort to lower their cash burn on a daily basis, because it's a more fuel efficient plane. That was the reason people were buying them hand over fist.
Yeah. No, I know people are just to get back on planes, but they're going to have to wait a little bit, I think. Yeah, I think you're right. I think this is a good strategy to kind of get that
Well,
set.
I think largely the average flyer doesn't care what plane they're on. They care if their seat isn't gross and has enough space. They care that right now they're not going to catch COVID on the plane, that everyone's wearing their mask,
There
and
you go.
they care that they're going to get there in a safe manner. And that was the whole obviously knocking point is that no one trusted
That last one.
the last very, very important and really the only thing that matters point, when discussing those 3 points. But yeah, I think once they're proven they're safe, the software patches and system redesigns are good to go, and that the pilots can take back over the plane, which was part of the
That
whole
was
issue
huge.
was why they crashed. They were literally having to fight the autopilot system, which crashed them. Um, yeah, I think it'll be good, and because it's not going to just benefit American Airlines. I will admit I'm not a fan of American Airlines, so I think though you're going to see Southwest follow suit. You're going to see United follow suit, and all the other airlines that do have these planes currently sitting and collecting dust, rain, and snow on the tarmacs across the U.S. and world.
Yeah, that's usually what happens, right? I mean, once one makes the move, they've got to compete. They've got to, say, we're doing the
Yes
same
and
thing they
yes
are.
and
The
no.
base at the plunge, and we're going with it.
So yes and no. I think this is less about competition. I really do think it's about cash burn, lowering cash burn. America. It's not a secret. American and United have the worst balance sheets in the U.S. Aerospace industry. So, are you going to see Southwest rush to get these planes back in the air? It depends on their cash burn. Depends how their progress is going towards lowering that. If they can lower that and let United and American take the lead maybe on getting the 737 Max up in the air and seeing how people are responding to it from a consumer standpoint. And if people are willing to skip the flights that are on that plane still, they can kind of gauge customer behavior on while either booking the plane or being on the plane. Does anybody freak out when they get on the plane and realize it's 737 Max? Hopefully not, but I think cash burn. This is more so a cash burn rather than a competition play, not play, but
That's
aspect.
why American's probably the first one. It was either them or United, most likely.
Yeah, and I wasn't surprised to see it was American.
Yeah.
So just I don't know. It's not fun to be in the airline industry now, even though TSA levels did just tick back above 1 million travelers for the first time. So that's good.
Go.
We're slowly, right as cases are spiking though. So we'll see it.
I know, right?
Hopefully we can lower those and get travel back to, back to where it needs to be. I just feel for not necessarily the airlines. I feel for the airline employees that are caught in the middle of this. I feel for the tourist destinations and the people that are employed there and run small businesses there that are relying on it. Because, God, what a hellish year.
Yeah, no joke. Not much more to be said on that.
Yeah, I know. And on that uplifting note, thank you.
Flowers.
Yeah, thanks for listening to this episode of Cordy Learnings. Do all what we tell you to do, and every other podcast tells you to do. Like, rate, review, subscribe, all of it. We will see y'all next time.